Proteas men have surprisingly lost their three-match ODI series against the touring Bangladeshi side. Now the attention turns to the Test series, and the opening match at Kingsmead is in Durban. The Tigers may fancy their chances to make history again with a victory in a Test. The Proteas will be without a few players who've gone over to play in the IPL. Cricket writer Lungani Zama will be keeping a keen eye on proceedings at Kingsmead, and he joins us this morning via Zoom. A very good morning to you, Lungani. Before we get to the Proteas men, I want to quickly talk to you about the Proteas women. I mean, they're playing the semi-final against England, a huge score to chase, hasn't gotten off to the best of starts. How much trouble are we in, Lungani?
Morning, Mumshengu. Yeah, a lot of trouble. It's unfortunate. You want to save your best performances for the biggest games. But I think, you know, what these Proteas women have achieved and keep achieving in these major tournaments, they're getting closer and closer. So you can only be proud of the effort and the fact that they host the next major ICC event bodes well. And you'd like to think that the majority of South Africans will get behind them because they actually represent our most realistic chance of landing an ICC trophy at the moment. So you'd hope that they get the support that they deserve. And even when they come back, they're commended for what's been an amazing effort.
All right, let's switch to the Proteas men. They still have their egos dented after that historic loss to Bangladesh in the ODI series. Has enough time passed for them to regroup, do you think?
Well, there's barely been any time. And the big concern there is obviously the fact that you've lost half a side at a time when you need them.
Yeah.
There's been no time to rebuild, to rethink this. And the manner that you lost that side, you know, it surprised captain and vice captain. They've been very outspoken about the fact that they should have been warned about this well ahead. So it's not ideal preparation. And coupled with that, you know, they're going to a venue where they previously lost to subcontinental opposition in Sri Lanka when they won the series in 2019. So, you know, all the cards point to Bangladesh having a really good chance to make a sensational piece of history.
And you mentioned the players that have gone out to play in the IPL. I mean, these are very key players. Kagiso Rabada, Rassie van der Dis, and Aiden Markram. I mean, I could go on. Do we have the right kind of replacements to overcome this hurdle?
We'll have to. We don't have a choice. I think the manner in which cricket works, you know, what you've got is what you've got. So there's a fantastic opportunity for the likes of Lutho Sipamla, Ryan Rickleton. They've got to stand up, and Dean Elgar has been forthright about the fact that, you know, the team that you've got is the team that's got to represent the country. So it's not worth quibbling about what you could have had. What you have now is an opportunity to show that you're good enough to play international cricket and defend a 20-year legacy of never losing to Bangladesh in Test cricket. But Bangladesh obviously see a massive opportunity to become only the second country from Asia to win a series here.
Lungani, the Proteas are infamous for their slow starts in series, and they are well aware of this. How important is it going to be for them to hit the ground running?
Yeah. That African time is strong in their Proteas team, especially in Test series of late. They can't afford to. You know, the two venues that they're playing, Kingsmead and St. George's, traditionally favour slower attacks, and that's Bangladesh's strength. So if you start and you give them confidence, I think the big thing with South Africa for the last 2-3 years of the rebuilding phase of this international side has been how brittle the self-confidence has been. So when you start on the back foot, it becomes very hard. And yes, they came back strongly against New Zealand. They came back strong against India. But you can't keep on starting on the back foot because sometimes there's just no chance, like Sri Lanka showed when they came here and won. And that was with a full-strength South African team. So with a new team, you definitely can't start on the back foot because it's too far to claw back, especially in two Test series.
Now, you did briefly mention the conditions at Kingsmead. I mean, the Proteas do not have a good record there, winning only 1 from 9 tests there. When you look at this new-look Bangladeshi team, they seem to somehow be more familiar with South African conditions. Is this going to be a very, very difficult thing for the Proteas? Are the Bangladeshi side at a bit of an advantage, would you say?
Yeah, I think you know, if you look at the Bangladesh setup, they've got a lot of South African intel, you know, from head coach, bowling coach. You know, they've had a lot of South African influence, and South African influence that maybe wanted to prove a point because they may have felt that they lost their jobs prematurely. And the best way to prove that point is to come back and beat South Africa and show that maybe what they had wasn't appreciated. And the fact that they've been put in Durban and Port Elizabeth is a huge help to Bangladesh. You know, you could have played these games on the Highveld, but the schedule says Coastal, Durban, and PE, which have lost the mongrel of old. So it plays into the hands of a strong spin attack, and you'd hope South Africa goes against the grain and plays Keshav Maharaj with Simon Harmer, because that may be the best chance of getting 20 wickets in Durban and PE.
All right, Lungane, we're going to leave it there. We're just going to have to hope for the best in terms of the Proteas women out in Christchurch and the Proteas men who are going to be in Durban. Thank you so much for unpacking it for us. That was cricket writer Lungane Zama as we cross fingers and look ahead to the first test between the Proteas and Bangladesh, which begins